Hello, hello, hello. It's Crafty Chris here for another Scrap Your Scrap Thursday night. Tonight we're going to be making a calendar page for August, and I thought I would do a mixed media calendar page this time. So I have a 3-step stencil that is going to create these wonderful little sunflowers in the background. I'm going to do an all over print with emphasis of color along the top and sort of a vague sort of color, so you can see the writing through on the rest of the print. We are going to do it in stages together, and I'm going to show you how to mask so that you get an all over print with a 6x6 stencil. So first I'm going to start by masking off these little partial pieces here and here and the partial pieces. So I just want the section that is going to be full sunflowers. Where did my masker go? There we are. Okay. So we'll just do that together. And I want to make sure that I don't interfere with any of the other sunflowers. So I'm just masking off using my tape, and unfortunately the sunflowers are scooched into each other, so I'm going to have to be careful about my taping. And you can't really see what I'm doing because it's not a dark background. So let me do this while we're taping. Alrighty. Oops. Just a little bit here. This is going to look pretty messy. But I'm not worried about it being messy because that's not going to show up on my page at the end anyway. Ugh, I'm all stuck up. Okay. And then I can just do one long piece at the end, and I'm going to have this come over the edge so that I can use it to help me stay, have the stencil stay on the background. There we go. And these little guys, just going to fill them in like this. Whoa. There we go. It's better to build up. There we go. Piece goes there. Then these guys I have to do again. You can do this with any kind of washi or masking tape. And you know what? I think I'm just going to put a little bit of a bigger piece there. All right, and we need a little piece there. So here we are, ready to go. And I'm just going to use this pattern over and over and over again on the surface of my card. And I'm going to start from the bottom because the top is where I want to go on heavily. I'm using Hero Art's Hero Hues reactive dyes, or reactive inks rather, which means that at any point that water hits this, regardless of how old it is, it can make the dye splatter. But I love the colors of this, so I'm going to take the chance. And I mean, technically speaking, if I really wanted to, I could seal it with some collage medium. This is what I use. It's Distress Collage Medium, and it just seals the surface. So I'll put all of these things in the link, or in the comments for the video, so you can access those. And I've got myself just a large and a small brush. Small is going to be for the brown, and the large I'm going to use for both the orange and the yellow. My colors are Lemondrop, Root Beer, and Creamsicle. And I think that's all I need. Okay, so we are ready to start doing our coloring. So I'm basically, because this is 6 inches wide, I'm going to make sure that it stays on the edge for both both sides going up. However, I am going to have to adjust it on the bottom because I'm taking out the bottom edge and the top edge. So I'm just going to make sure that when this is here, actually let's do it this way. Oh, I can't. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to have the same allowance from the edge of my stencil here as the on the bottom. Don't know if I'm explaining that right, but basically what I'm trying to say is that it's going to have the same space here from the bottom as it has from the side, and I'm going to line up going up. Okay, and I know I'm going to have to do 2 prints here because I have to get my flowers into these spots as well. So let's see how this goes, and that's not a good start. It's not a good start to I'm going to get my little holder here. This always helps. Keeps things steady. Actually, I don't need that yet. And make sure that's flat. All right. And this way I can really rub and make sure I get this inked up. Now I don't want this to be too heavy, so I'm going to go over this with a light hand because this is where I want everything to be seen, right? So I'm just going to go through, make sure I can still see things. Ooh, a little too much on that one. It's always a good idea to go big sweeping movements, not focus in on one flower. And I'm realizing I'm getting really close to the edge there, so I'm going to put a piece of tape across there so it doesn't pull me into that side. So I have a little bit of room to do some work in those flowers. All right, I think I can go just a little bit deeper. So you're kind of playing it by ear until you figure it out. This one's a little too much. Try and get them more or less even. And there's a lot of ink on your actual template, so you can just move that around into the spots. Okay, so we're going to lift that up carefully. All right, isn't that pretty? And let's move it over this way a bit. Now I have to get flowers going into the missing section so that they're about the same distance apart. So I'm going to flip this over. So I have to remember that I flipped it, because if I don't remember I flipped it, then let's line this up on the edge and make sure that we have it lined up on the bottom. All right, I think that this will be okay. So straight up with this big piece on the right hand side, and then on this side I flip it around so that big piece is on the left hand side. That's how we're going to play this out. Let's see how we did. Hopefully this will work. It's a little off here. So I might just move the next one a bit over to kind of make it feel like it's moving up the page. But you know what? It's good enough for a calendar page. So now I have this flower at the bottom. I can sort of line that up with here, more or less. Can't see it exactly, but it will give me the idea of how I can line this up. Oops. Let's get this down first, and then that down. All right. Okay, so I stopped forwarding it because I've got this going better across here now, and I'm realizing I need to just put a little bit of a, because it doesn't fit exactly perfect. I'm just going to put a little bit of a frame, because on this side of the paper, I have distance between where the flowers end. There we go. So I'm just going to stop it at that approximate part. So let me lift this up a second. So it's a little finicky if you don't have a stencil that kind of fills in perfectly. But I'm going to give it that 1/16 of an eighth. I'm going to cover that up. And these are just going to be here for the end part. And now, if I take that off carefully, there we go. Yeah, it's a little wonky, but it's not too bad. Not too bad. All right, so I'm going to take that off because I don't need that until the second pass. Now, up at the top here, flipping this over, we also need to put a piece that's kind of a 1/8 of an inch across the top there. So I'm going to use these pieces again and just give myself about 1/8 of an inch in covering up. There we go. So now I've got that border. So that border is actually going to now be all the way around. Make sure everything is down. And this is where I want to really highlight the colors. So I'm going to really highlight what's up here and then just lightly do the ones that are at the bottom, because I still want to see the names of the days on there. You know what? I think I can still do these dark too. Okay, that looks awesome. All right, nice and bright there and a lot lighter here for where we're doing our work. Okay, so now we're going to do the next phase, and I'm going to keep all this tape because it's still perfectly sticky. And there's no sense wasting tape if you can avoid it. It's just getting it off. that extra step. So I'm going to do that quickly, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I'm back, and I'm now just sort of getting that, getting the stencil in place here. I don't really understand how this stencil is supposed to match, because it really doesn't match. But it's neither here nor there. We just gotta do it and hope it looks good in the end. And where's all my little bitty bits? They're all over here. Challenge. Because this is number 1 and this is number 2, and they're supposed to go, oh, they don't match exactly anyway. Perfect. Okay, so that's all good. So now switching to orange, and just to make sure that I don't have a lot of yellow left here, I'm going to take a paper towel and I'm just going to get as much of that yellow off as I can into the paper towel, and then that way I know that I'm going to get the creamsicle color and not a yellow blend of the creamsicle color. There we go. That looks good. All right. So now let's juice up the creamsicle. It's going to be vibrant, and remember, we're going over lightly. I guess we will see. Gently lift everything up. Oh, you can see a little bit of yellow. It's very strange though. Oh well. We will continue on. Okay. This goes up here. Now this is where I'm going to add much more orange. So we're going to get much darker oranges up here. Because we want it vivid. This is just going to go here. This is going to go here. Okay, so there we are. Excuse me. And now I just got to put the center of my piece in. And again, we're taking off this tape and reusing it. No sense wasting. Okay, so I'm just lining up my centers with the centers of my flowers. This doesn't need a lot of masking, except up at the top there where the number of the template is. Everything else is fine. Okay. And just down this side. Still using the same tape. And across the top. Whoops. Just a little bit more for across the top. We can just put this across the bottom so we don't have any issues. All right, now I'm using the little brush because I want to get into the little circles. And then again, I'm starting off. And I don't want to go too heavy. I have lots of ink on there. Okay, so we've got the bottom done here. Looks pretty good. Now we're going to do the top. And we're going to do it quite dark. And whoops, just slipped a little bit there. And I left some of this on here because unfortunately, oh, you know what I'm going to do? Got to do a little bit of taping off there because I can do all the centers in this section all at once. All right, so now we are going to do dark. I'm just going to get rid of the ink that's already on here. And now I'm just going to apply directly to the centers. Okay, so there we go. We have our lighter where we're going to be writing and our darker across the top. Now, bear with me for 1 second because we're going to do some cleanup here. I am not a big fan of wasting dye, and all of our implements are covered in dye, or not dye, but ink. I hope you know what I mean. So I'm going to show you what to do with this leftover ink, because I think it's important that you use it. I'm a big fan of using paper towels, colorful paper towels. Maybe I have some here drying that you can pull together and use in your other artwork. So we're going to take a couple of those, and actually I think what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to try it and print the flower pattern on. This has already got yellow on it, so I'm going to try and print the brown and the orange onto this piece. So these pieces of tape now are kind of done, so you can toss those in your garbage. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to just lightly mist the paper towel, turn over the paper towel, or turn over the stencil, and let that water that we just put on there sink right into the ink that's on the, there we go. Maybe I need a little bit of stuff on here. There we go. And I'm going to take that off just with another paper towel. So now that root beer color has quite a fair bit of green in it. So I'm just going to now wipe it down. Now once you've wiped water soluble ink off of your template or your stencil, you should be fine. That can be just dried off and kept for another time. Okay, now the next one I want to do is this orange one. So I'm going to get this wet again, and I'm just going to plop this down and press it down. And I'm on my mat so I can sort of like really get it pressed in. Not much came out of that. So let's just kind of get the rest off here. Now, you may not see it initially, but sometimes as it dries, you can pick out a pattern. And again, I'm just going to rub off both sides of my stencil. This is a spiky edge stencil, so you have to be careful not to destroy your paper towel if you're wanting to use it. And there we go. It's all clean. Just getting the paper towel bits off. Okay. And the yellow I don't need to put on this one. So the yellow I'm going to put on a totally different one. There we go. Let that dry. Maybe I can show you before the end of the replay. Get the ink off of this as much as possible. Oh, we get some little bits of ink. I don't think we'll get much of a pattern off of the yellow one because it's fairly pale, but we can definitely blot up the ink that's on there. Again, it's a very pointy template, so you want to make sure that you're not destroying your paper towel that you want to use in another work. And just wherever I see yellow, I go back in. And there we are, all cleaned up and ready to go. And those will dry in no time. Inks we can just put to the side. Make sure you have your lids on them. And now we're going to finish the rest of our calendar page. Okay, now that our area is cleaned up a bit, I have this interesting font that is blue stripe on top, so it's blue with navy stripe, and then it has this turquoise behind it, which is very watery like. So that's what I'm going to use to put the August on here. Oh, look at that. I've got red too. I only want the blue. So that needs to go in a different container altogether. It was in my blue container. Okay, just to finish up. So I also have the sunflowers that were gifted to me in a card swap. And so I'm going to use one of the sunflowers in the title. Not sure if I'm going to use the blue one yet because it's not quite the same blue as what's going on here. Blue is the opposite color to orange on the color wheel, so we'll see how it all works out. So I'm going to get my alignment tool, and I wonder if I should do an arc. If I do an arc, yeah, no. I think I'll do straight. All right. And again, when you're using these alignment tools, you want to make sure that you're doing it on the right side so you do not lose the grid. And I'm going to bring you in close so you can see what's going on, and turn off my light so it's a little easier on your eyes. There we go. All right, so basically I'm just sticking my A to the first line on my alignment tool. So we're going to put that there, and then the U. This is a brand new pack, so hopefully I will have enough letters. Get the G, and when you're pulling off foam letters, you want to make sure that you are pulling them off straight and not crooked. So I need to make sure those lines kind of go straight with each other, because otherwise it could look really funky if they're not lined up. Oh, there we go. Something like that. Ugh. I'm going to move that just a bit closer. Maybe I have too much of an angle on the letters. Move you a bit over here so you can see it straight on. Something like that. Trying to keep those letters in the same horizontal shape. Ooh, but then this one goes all wonky. I don't think I can do that, because if I put that like that, that's too... Okay, so you know what? We're just going to make sure that's a weird S. They're all like that though. Although this one isn't quite so bad. Sometimes you have to pick and choose. So we're going to pick and choose this one because I think it might line up a little bit better. Yes. See that? Crazy, right? August and a T. And let's see if we can just manipulate this a little bit more. It's just all kinds of wonky. I think it's going to be wonky, folks. It's not too bad. All right. Now let's lift this all off. So my thinking is that I'm going to pop dump my flower and have August across. Oh, you can't even see anything now. Okay. Raise you back up. There we go. So I'm going to put my August about there, and I'm going to have my flower around there. That is just making me a little bit nuts. Okay, so let's try and get that centered. Use my alignment tool to align. All right. It's a wonky alphabet, so it's hard to get it to line up. There we go. We're going to go with that. Gotta lift that T. The T is making me a little nutty. That looks better. Okay, now we'll get some pop dots on the back of this. And just going to rip off some strips. There we go. Oops, sticking to my finger. Now, before I put this down, I'm going to just curl the edges of my die with my thumbnail, just to give it a bit more dimension. And we're going to pop that in there. There we go. And I feel like I got to put butterflies or something. You know what? This whole thing looks a bit crooked. But I think it just might be... Yeah, because that's about the same. Yep, I think it's just the way the letters are sitting there. They're on an angle and they're making me nutty. Okay, so now August starts on what date? August 1st is Tuesday. The colors of pens I'm going to use are here's my pens. I am going to use yellow, of course, which I don't have in this group of pens, but I do have in this group of pens. So yellow, brown, oh, it's hard to get brown out. Whoops. Everything but brown. That's green. Oh, there's brown. So there's brown, yellow, and sort of an orangey color. There we go. This is awesome. And I think we will add some more things to it. maybe a couple of butterflies or something like that, because I just feel like it's a bit plain. And we'll see if this will fit in at some point, but we won't worry about that at the moment. So we're starting off, let's start off with brown. No, let's start off with orange. So the first is Tuesday. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 30, and we have 31 days, if I'm not mistaken. 30 days, or 31 days in August. 28, 29, 30, 31 days. So it ends on a Thursday. So that's that. And then we'll do yellow. No, we'll do brown. 2, 5, 8. And that's it. And now we'll do yellow. 3, 6, 9. Wow, it's really hard to see that yellow. So you know what? I'm going to switch that out and do that in gold, because that yellow is just way too light. So we'll go back. 3. Whoa, that's a thick marker. 6, 9, and 30. There we go. And so you know that I write everything that goes into those spots in using my pens. Now, I do have a place I could put this, but you know what? It's not really floating my boat, so I think I will use this for a different project. It is a lot of fun, for sure, but not for this project. Now, I do want to get out my butterflies and see what I can do with butterflies. I have butterflies and moths in many different forms in here. Some are stickers. All right, don't want anything. Whoa, look at the size of that butterfly. That's going to be in a pop-up card, I can tell already. All right, so I have some painted butterflies. That yellow one is kind of cute. It would be nice on that. But let's see what else we have. I want something bright and cheerful. Oh, now these guys would probably just disappear. Yeah. So let's see. You could do some blue butterflies to match the blue. So we'll pull those out. What do we got here? These are plain. Ooh, gold and white. Hard to say. This is the hard part. I could do black, but black doesn't really go. So we're going to stick with this so far. Although these are really pretty. And I do kind of like that gold and white one. Maybe. Let's see what else we have in here. Oh, we have a fairy in there. I guess I wrapped that in with butterflies. These are mostly greens. Now, what have I got in here? I've got all kinds of acetate butterflies. They would be fun, but I don't think I have anything blue. Oh, wait. Blue and yellow. Let's take a look at those. They're kind of fun, but they do get lost. So I think we'll say nay on that. But they certainly are fun. There's a little purpley blue. Nope, nope. Nope, nope. I have a blue moth, but it's not the right blue. This is the problem when you have all kinds of choices. just pull these guys out. What else do I have? Nope, nothing in there. These guys can go back in. Although that is cute, but it's all the wrong colors. All right, blue is what I'm looking for. Blue stripe, no. Oh, it's a little moth. That might be cute. Or maybe he could go down here. Not enough blue, but that might work. No, 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 no. Very easy to go through the process. I have a clear idea of what I'm playing with here, so. Okay. Yeah. And these guys are green. And those don't work for me this time, and the big guys don't work for me either. So then the other option, whoops, I do have tags and things, but I don't think I want to go and add that element. I think I'm just going to stick to butterflies. Ooh. I know it's just a matter of picking which one. This one no longer impresses me, so we'll tuck him back in there. Oh, the one I really liked kind of disappeared. Oh, there he is. Found him. Okay, so imagine these guys trimmed out. A couple of these little guys here and here maybe. So that's one option. Then I could go totally nature-like and do like a realistic-y one. But everything else is kind of like funky and not real. So I think you're going to have to go back, my friend, for another day, another project. There we go. Oops. Now, I like this guy because he's just unusual. So I think he's going to go down there. And let me straighten this out a bit. So he's going to go down there. And I think I'm going to fussy cut these really quickly, which I will zoom fast on the video. Okay, so there we go. I kind of like those butterflies. I think they were the right choice. And this funny, weird looking butterfly at the bottom is going to be a good choice too. It's just wonky, funky. Okay, so now with all my butterflies, I like to fold the wings, give them some dimension, and we are just going to glue them along the spine. And I'm not going to pop dot them. I'm just going to take some clear glue, put it on the back, and this one is going to go here because he landed on the flower. There we go. And I don't know if that guy's going to go over there. I think he will because this guy's down here. Oh, messy end of my glue. There we go. There we go. And put this one just flying up in the top corner. There we go. This guy I think is a sticker. Yep. And he's just going to be flying down at the bottom. Okay, so let's raise this up a little. And here we go. Sorry, I got you a little bit crooked on the page there. So there is our finished calendar page. Isn't it cute? I am looking forward to looking at that all August. Okay, so a little add-on to the end of the video. So this was done with water reactive dyes, and a little bit of water got here and it's smudged. So I'm going to recommend two things: that you use a dye that is either or an ink that is either dye-based or alcohol-based, because they won't be affected by water. Or if you do use the water reactive ink, such as the Distress inks or the Hero Hues, I suggest that you spray coating a matte varnish on top of the surface of the entire paper after you've done it, so that you don't end up having some smudgies, especially if your calendar is going to go in the kitchen. The other thing I did is I added some Stickles to the wings of the butterflies and the center of that big, beautiful sunflower. And now I have distressed antique bronze stickles, and I have regular cinnamon stickles. I didn't like the distressed antique bronze because it didn't really have much of a sparkle to it. So I am going to add some of the Stickles cinnamon. And all I'm going to do is, I'm not going to cover up the whole thing. I'm just going to go in and smudge a little bit around so that it is reacting with the ink, because it does have an emulsion in it until it dries. So you're just going to go in and kind of tap it so that you don't move the ink around too much. Just going to tap some of that in there so that it gets a little bit, I can tuck a little tiny bit under here. It dries flat, so it doesn't matter how thick you put it on, it's going to dry flat. You just want to kind of give an all-over effect of some sparkle, but not a solid sparkle surface. And this will kind of give you some dimension in terms of having seeds in the flower bits. There we go. A little underneath this guy. Don't have to see too much. But if you smush it around, it will push around the ink. So you're not smushing, you're tapping. And very quickly just filling in some of those flowers with a little bit of sparkle. Get some character going. Make sure you don't go over that line. Just adds a little bit more to the top part, which is the decor part. And you can probably already see the sparkling happening there, and it looks quite seed-like. And that's it. Just gives you another sort of something to look at. Okay, so let me put that up closer to the camera so you can see that finish. So you see the brown ink underneath, and you have the sparkles on top, and then you have the glitter on the wings, and there you have it. And that's finished. If you enjoyed this video and would like to share it with your friends, please feel free to do so. I am going to put the link, a couple of links in the base of the video in the description of the video so you can find these products online. And that's it for this week. So don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you're enjoying my content. And there's lots there for you to see and many, many more to come. I will see you next Thursday. Thank you.